Welcome back. We are talking about the Great Florida Recount, the 2018 edition, and joining us for more are Tracy Pratt, who ran as a Democrat in House District 71, and Martin Hyde, a Republican who ran for Sarasota City Commission. And I want to talk for a few minutes about the rhetoric that a lot of folks have been using during this recount, which I believe is doing a disservice to the country and is raising doubts of a lot of Americans in terms of our voting process. And I'm going to start with the President of the United States. I think we have it on the screen. He told the Daily Caller this: when people get in line that have absolutely no right to vote and they go around in circles, sometimes they go in their car, put on a different hat, put on a different shirt, and come in and vote again. Nobody takes anything. It's really a disgrace what's going on. If you buy a box of cereal, you have a voter ID. They try to shame everybody by calling them racist or calling them something, and anything they can think of when you say you want voter ID, but voter ID is very important. Number one, Martin, you don't need a ID to buy a box of cereal, and the president is flatly making this up. There is no evidence of this, and there are people out there who will believe that this in fact happens.
I normally support the president in pretty much everything he says. I think on this occasion, he beyond misspoke. He's obviously upset, wound up about something.
I don't know what that is.
Well, who knows?
But anyway.
But as far as people putting on disguises and voting, I think we've all seen and heard things about Acorn years ago when President Obama and voter registration, and he's leading on from there. I agree it's not a responsible way to go, and it doesn't really deal with the true issues here of the voting, which we should have the same machines throughout the state, and we should have the technology so that we can do this in a professional manner.
But both the Secretary of State of Florida and the courts have said, law enforcement, FDLE has said that there may have been some sloppy work here and issues of competency, but there is absolutely no evidence of fraud.
I don't doubt that. I don't believe that there is. I think that there are people that want different outcomes, and there are people that are strident about it. I don't believe there are too many people putting on disguises, and even if there were, I don't think it would amount to a hill of beans.
And let's be fair, it's not the president alone. There is a congressman from the Panhandle, Matt Gaetz, you might have seen him on Fox News, who said that all this legal action by the Democrats is testing the parameters in order for their plans to steal the 2020 election from President Trump. This is a United States congressman saying this, Martin, and how could... it seems that it's not only wrong-headed, but it's counterproductive.
I agree. I only watch you and CNN, of course, so I didn't see the guy on Fox News. But as far as irresponsible and no evidence, frankly, I'm not sure there's a tremendous amount of evidence of voter suppression either. I think that the president certainly has overstepped the line there. I think the congressman, by the sounds of it, is a little bit too fired up too. But I'm not sure that Chuck Schumer or Bill Nelson talking about every vote count, because that gives the illusion that somehow stuff's being put away and people aren't getting their rights. And I don't think there's any evidence of that either. Tracy?
In fact, the federal judge said that today, that Florida, all these ballots were kicked out because of the mismatched signatures, but Florida, the statute doesn't have a real standard in terms of how you judge a signature.
One might imagine in the world that we live in, people are against ACLU, is against national identity cards and biometrics, but it would be one certain way to assure one person, one vote. You walk in, slap your finger down, pop your eye in a reader, and you'd be knowing that was one time.
Here's the other question for you, Martin. You're a businessman,
sure.
And any businessman who's watching this, businesses up and down the Suncoast, supply chain management is an art in terms of knowing where your product is going. We know everything about these things. Why do we have that kind of technology in our economy, but we don't have that kind of technology in defense of our elections?
Because people only talk about taxes on the 14th of April, and people only talk about elections the day after an election. In truth, we had this back in 2000. We've got this again now to a limited extent. Absolutely, there's no reason why one time we couldn't go to, they talk about individual counties. Why wouldn't we have the same machines? Why wouldn't we have the latest technology? Why wouldn't we pass something so that this can never happen again?
And the the reality is that the supervisor of elections in Broward County, who has come under so much criticism, maybe rightfully so, has said that she asked the state for new machinery 3 years ago, and this governor and this legislature turned her down.
Mm-hmm. And we're likely to have close elections going forward. Not that much is going to change between now and 2020. It's still going to be a hair's breadth between winning and losing, and people are wanting to participate, and I think this will increase turnout even further. So absolutely, there's not an awful lot of time. Elections take a while to plan. If I was going to go up to the legislature and the State House, I think that everybody owes their constituents the time to put that on a House bill and say, let's get this right, let's find the money and let's do it.